background. I'll do like a 2-shot intro.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, we're here at the 2024 AWSI trade show looking at the gear that's coming up for 2024. I'm here with Eliot Taucher with Slingshot, and you guys have 3 new kite models that we're going to take a look at. Let's maybe start first with the...
Start over here with the Ghost?
The Ghost, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So new for this year, starting from the bottom up with a complete redesign, is our Ghost. Now this kite fits into our free ride category. So if you want to get out there on a surfboard, twin tip, or foil, this kite is going to be for you. It's a 1-strut, so it's going to be a lot lighter. It still has that really easy sheet and go feeling. But if you are on a twin tip and you want to send a nice jump or a back roll transition or something, it's got a ton of lift and hang time still. So it's really good for kind of all the different disciplines, and then including a wide wind range. So that is the new Ghost for this year. Any questions on that? Should we move on over into the UFO?
Yeah, so both the UFO and the Ghost have been really popular with foilers. How should people decide between which one of the two would be right for them?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I know, a lot of people will go on the Ghost first for foiling, because to some people, the UFO is known for being a 0-strut kite. So there's no strut down the middle. So it can be a little bit intimidating at the beginning. But one thing I will touch on when we get to the UFO is that it was designed for water relaunching. But for initial consumers, especially if you're learning how to foil, it's nice to have the reassurance of the middle strut. So if the kite does fall into the water, at least you have a little bit more, it feels more comfortable. It feels more like a 3-strut kite. So I would say if you're on the beginning end of your foil journey, the Ghost is for you. And also if you're someone that wants to travel and you have a foil for light wind days and maybe a surfboard or a twin tip, this kite's going to be for twin tipping. It's going to be a little bit more fun. It's going to have the more rigidity from the strut. So it's a little bit, I would say, a little bit better for the more all-around rider. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you are an advanced foiler or something that you really want to specify in, the UFO has been really known to be the best in class foil kite out there. So this year we created a whole category around the UFO called More from Less. And what it's going to do is really going to optimize your foiling experience. So if you want to go out there and have the best in class gear designed specifically for kite foiling from Fred Hope, who is one of the best foilers in the world, this is going to be for you. So what it is it's a 0-strut kite. So what does that mean? It means it's going to be a lot lighter in the air, and the whole canopy is going to have room to flex and breathe. And one other thing I kind of touched on earlier is that it was designed for water relaunching. So if you come down and you see the wingtips, it's what we call a swept wingtip. And Tony and Fred really worked on the shape of these wingtips because we knew water relaunch is going to be the main concern from people. So what the kite does is if you do crash it in the water, you're going to want to have the kite completely downwind of you. Back is upwind, kite's completely downwind of you. And the wingtips were designed that it's going to actually catch air in the middle, in the belly of the kite, and then the air is going to push to the wingtips, and the wingtips are going to open, and as soon as the wingtip opens, they'll fill with air. Your canopy will be full again, and you can water relaunch. So this is the new UFO for this year. If you are really looking to optimize your foil quiver, I would absolutely highly recommend the UFO. Best kite for kite foiling.
Yeah. What do you think makes it so exceptional, apart from being like really lightweight because there's no struts? As far as how it's positioned in the window when you're riding, does it sit pretty deep in the window?
Yep, exactly. So the leading edge is going to be a little bit bigger, which is going to produce a little bit more drag. And then also with the you can see it's whereas the Ghost is going to be a little bit more high aspect, the UFO is really compact. Kind of like you could think of it as like a little bucket. So there's this little bucket in front of you catching the wind. So when you get up, you loop it, it's going to produce a lot of power. So you're going to get that pull to get up out of the water, but it is going to sit fairly deep, but then also when you sheet out, it dumps power really easily. So it's going to produce power really quickly, it's going to dump power really quickly, it's going to sit deeper in the window from that drag from the leading edge. So you can foil at it and it's just going to stay in the air. You can just chase it downwind all you want. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I would imagine because it sits so deep in the window, it probably handles the lulls a lot better than something at the edge of the window too.
Exactly. Yeah. So here in the gorge, we're very accustomed to gusty conditions. And if you have a kite that is going to sit at the edge of that window, if you do get a gust, if you're going at the kite at all and you mistime it with a lull, that kite will fall out of the sky kind of behind your head. So yeah, it was designed here in the gorge with Fred and Tony and Fox. And so this thing is going to perform really, really, really well in the gusts.
Yeah. Cool. Let's maybe take a quick peek at the RPX over here.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys know, freestyling is not dead. Carlos Mario just won, he won the second to last GKA event, and then they weren't able to finish the last one, so there was 4 people that got first place. But we can say he won the last 2, and he did that on the RPX. So new for this year, bringing it back in its second generation. The RPX fits into our freestyle category. So if you are a rider that wants to get out there and try some unhooking, here in the gorge, you know, we have the slider park. There's not many of those in the world, but if you're someone that wants to try the slider park or get into unhooking, this kite is designed for you, and Bebe as well. New for this year, we changed up the bridle material. We wanted to go, because we know that this kite, when you're unhooking, it's going to take a beating, it's going to get dropped in the water, and you just require a lot of more force and strength out of your freestyle kite. So we went with a little bit thicker bridle material, just so that we know that, you know, you're going to buy this kite and it's going to last for multiple years on end. So yeah, this kite is designed for freestyling. If you still want to get into unhooking, this kite's going to be for you. So that is our new kite lineup for 2024. We got the free ride machine over here. Well, I guess can't say machine because that's a big air kite. Free ride weapon, the Ghost, the foiling. If you want to have the best gear in the world for kite foiling, try and kite foil like Fred Hope is the UFO, and then for freestyle over here is the RPX.
Yeah, so the RPX is probably one of the only non-sea kites that's doing well on the world tour. Like, it's pretty much being wouldn't say dominated, but the riders are using almost exclusively sea kites from 3 brands right now. And to see the RPX podium like regularly is really impressive. What's kind of the magic sauce you think that makes the RPX competitive against the seas?
I think what it is that it requires a little bit of a different style. It's going to have a bit more pull. And so when you watch Carlos, he has consistent pull throughout his tricks, and so he's able to, that kind of style of kite works really well with his style. And then also for other people, like, it's just a consistent, solid pull. So you know where the kite is at all times. It does still provide you with enough slack that you're not going to get your arms ripped off when you do your handle passes. But I think a combination of that is what keeps it alive, keeps the RPX alive.
All right, sweet. So for people to find their local retailer, what's a good website to?
Yeah, please go on to slingshotsports.com, click on our search tab, and then you'll see the local retailers. And you can these come out October 3rd, and the retailers will be stocked up. So if you want to try any of these or buy any of them, please go find your local retailer, and we'll see you on the water.
Awesome, cool. Thanks, Eliot.
Yeah, of course.
The legendary foil rider, Fred Hope.
Yeah, excited to be here.
That completely slays it. And you've got some really exciting new foil-related products for us to check out.
We've finally completed the package. So the whole category is summed up into 3 different products. We have the highest performance kite foil package in the market. To start it off, it's the new for 2024. It's the joystick. We basically took our normal bar, stripped off everything, and minimized the size of everything as well. So the chicken loop's smaller, the bar diameter is smaller, the floats are smaller, leader lines are thinner. The overall lines are thinner too, so everything is made to be as light as possible. Even the Y-splitter is made of plastic now and shrunk in size, and we added a little stopper ball and took off the D-power. So there's no more D-power on this bar. The idea being that with the smaller chicken loop, you can get everything closer, so you can actually sheet out further and get the same throw that you would, or the D-power in the kite that you would if you were to fully D-power on the normal bar. So this bar is pretty exciting. It took us a couple years to figure it out. I've been customizing my Sentry bars for 4 years now, and so this is kind of the culmination of what I learned from that. And if we go over here, we have my pro model board, the Hopecraft. Last year I had one size, 103 centimeters, and I wanted to make it work for everybody, so I added a lot of volume to the nose. For the new year, they gave me 4 sizes, so the 90 is really tailored for super high performance where you still are able to touch down on the board or on the water. So we added a bit more rocker than you do in the 100, 110, and 120. The idea behind this board is you want a wide tail for your feet so you can offset the stance and have as much leverage over the rails as possible, so you can turn as sharp as possible. In addition to that, we did a new box layout that's a lot lighter, and we have the longer tracks that slide out the back so you can pop your foil off the back as quickly as you want.
That's such a nice feature for being able to just slide it right out the back.
Yeah. It's when you get on a board that doesn't have them, you get kind of bummed because it takes so long. You got to take the T-nuts out of the tracks and everything. So it's pretty nice to have that on this board for this year. There's also minimal insert layouts or inserts in the board so that you kind of know where to put your feet, and it saves on weight. Then we also have the leash plug in the nose so that if the wind dies, you just hook your leash to there, put a little loop string on it, hook your leash to there, and then you can focus on relaunching your kite. So pretty excited about this one. Like I said, there's a 90, 100, 110, and 120. Then we go to the kite above here. This is the UFO V3. It's the best kite for light wind kite foiling, but it is still performance in the high wind. It's got a lot of shut off, especially with the new joystick. When you push the bar out, it really shuts the kite off as much as possible to allow you to do all the tricks that you want to do whether that's winging out, tacking, jibing, or doing some of the spinny or aerial tricks that I do on the board.
Yeah.
So pretty excited to finally have the whole package. We had this last year. Not in these versions, in an older version, but we never had the bar. So now that we have the bar, it really I can take my whole setup, give it to somebody, know that it's all stock, and they'll love the whole system. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And Slingshot's kind of simplifying the whole foil lineup now.
Yeah. So for kite foil, we have 3 front wings, the 633 that is probably one of the most sold. This one is a winging wing, so it's a different one. But
well, we won't look at that one then.
633, 684, and 657, and they kind of go down in size. I ride the 657. Most people are riding the 684, and we sell the 633 as kind of like the beginner front wing package to make it as easy to foil as possible. Then we kind of have 4 stabilizers. We have 2 new ones, the PS340 and the PS360. The 360 is that V-stab, so it unlocks the yaw a lot and makes it so that the foil feels a little more slippery, but it doesn't lose the pitch stability. So you're still going to have as much stability as you have on the PS400, which is our beginner stabilizer. Then you can migrate down to the 340, which is this one here. It's got the yaw instability, and it starts to incorporate a bit more roll instability at the same time. So you unlock the yaw, and then you start to unlock the roll. And so you're doing baby steps along the way so that you don't get on a foil that you feel like is too advanced for you. Then once you migrate past that one, you can get on the 325, which is the one that I've been riding, and it has the wingtips that go up. In kiting, you have a lot more power accessible than in winging. You're always kind of sheeting on the bar and pushing against the board. So I like to have that yaw be as locked as possible, and that's why I like the 325, so I can push on my back foot and not have it slide out on me. But it loses the pitch stability, so that's why we have this whole stabilizer step method, we're calling it, that you can kind of work through in the series. So yeah, pretty excited about all the products. They look pretty kick-ass too, so it'll be fun to start seeing them on the water and see what the reception is on all this new gear.
For a quick tuning tip for people, how do you, when you set your foil in the base, how are you trying to get your feet balanced on the board? Are you going for more front foot pressure?
Yeah.
Even
So
between the two?
Yeah, it kind of depends on your weight. Everyone's going to put it in a different spot depending on weight and personal preference. But usually, beginners start further back, and then as you progress or you get to smaller wings, you can push it forward. And some people like a lot of front foot pressure. Like I like a lot of front foot pressure. But if I go and I ride Brandon Schide's setup, he's fully back foot, and so it's really personal preference there. But the nice thing is with these tracks that are 14 inches long, you can slide the foil a long ways on the board, so you can really tune it to what you want. Versus last year's Hopecraft had 10-inch tracks that made it so that you could move it a little bit, but some riders, especially like smaller kids, couldn't get it far enough forward to get enough lift for their front foot. So I'm really excited about the tracks, and it didn't add any weight. It actually took weight out because of our new high density foam block system that we're doing in there with a bunch of beams and setting the tracks in little support beams. So
what are the advantages of having more front foot pressure? Does it open up a lot more tricks to you? Do you think?
Usually, if you push the foil forward, you minimize the swing weight of the board because relative to the foil, the board is shorter. So that's kind of one of the reasons that I like it. And I also like to use it as kind of a gas pedal. Like you push on your front foot, it speeds up because the board starts going down towards the water. Other people like it to be further back so that they can press harder on their back foot, or heavier riders as well that can get more weight onto that back foot, prefer it to be further back.
Yeah, well that explains why I load it might be a little heavier.
Yeah. Something that really excites me because it maximizes the time that you spend on the water. I've seen a lot of people spending way too long putting their foil together. So we went to our designer, Eb, and we said, hey, Eb, design something that makes it as easy as possible to get your foil attached to your board in the least amount of time possible, and try to make it toolless. So he came back with this system here. It's called the Rapid Track System. You basically have 2 flag screws on the back that you can undo by hand, slide them off. And then on the front, we have sleds that go underneath these anchors. You can see there.
Oh, cool.
This goes underneath, and it's a press fit, so you can see on the back there it's sitting a little higher. When you tighten these screws down, it locks it down, and it makes it so it doesn't rock at all. So this system is pretty neat. It goes on any of our aluminum masts, whether that's Hoverglide or Phantasm. You buy the new plate, comes with the anchors here and the sleds, and then 2 flag screws. The other thing that's great about Eb designing these little flag screws is that now you can buy 4 of these, and you can move your foil around when you're on the water. So if you're trying new foils, or you're constantly like messing around with your front wing, or you have 5 different front wings, whether that's winging, kiting, or wake foiling, or even foil surfing, you can go on the water, you feel like you don't have enough back foot pressure, you take the 4 of these that you have on the bottom of your board and you twist them, and then the foil comes loose, you slide it forward or back, and then you can tighten it back down, all without tools. So that's pretty nice. In addition to that, if you feel like they're not sitting straight enough, there are some other ones on the market that look similar to this, but they don't lift up, and so you can't turn them. What's nice about this is you can lift and put them more into position so that they don't create too much drag. Instead of sitting like this, you can turn them to sit straight. So that's what's pretty nice about that. So I have these on all my setups now, just the forced flag screws to make it so I can move my foil out there and take it off without tools. So yeah, this thing's gonna be pretty nice.
That's super slick. So you have that on all your boards? I guess you ride.
Well, it's an addition.
Foils do you ride? 1? 2?
I ride the 899, PTM 899 for winging. It's our new front wing that everyone's excited about. And then for kiting, the 657. And for wake foiling, I use the 899 as well, but I have a different stabilizer. So, and then different mast lengths for each sport. 92 for winging, 102 for kiting, and then the 82 for wake foiling. So,
Cool, thanks.
yeah.